And so, when I hear not just our current president, but his aides, who have a history of calling political opponents vermin, enemies, who need to be targeted, that speaks to a broader problem that we have right now. And so when I hear not just our current president, but his aides, who have a history of calling political opponents vermin, enemies, who need to be targeted, that speaks to a broader problem that we have right now. And something that we're going to have to grapple with, all of us, whether we're Democrats, Republicans, independents. We have to recognize that on both sides, undoubtedly there are people who are extremists and who say things that are contrary to what I believe are America's core values. But I will say that those extreme views were not in my White House. I wasn't embracing them. I wasn't empowering them. I wasn't putting the weight of the United States government behind extremist views. And that is when we have the weight of the United States government behind extremist views, we've got a problem. And so your original question is, are we at an inflection point? We're at an inflection point in the sense that we always have to fight for our democracy. And we have to fight for those values that have made this country the envy of the world. And I often say democracy is not self-executing. It depends on us as citizens, regardless of our political affiliations, to stand up for certain core values, because otherwise we may not have them.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about a massive free speech controversy that has blown up in the US. Disney and ABC have taken Jimmy Kimmel live off the air indefinitely after comments Kimmel made about Charlie Kirk's suspected killer, the MAGA movement, and their reaction to the tragedy. And honestly, this story says a lot more about free speech and government power than it does about Jimmy Kimmel himself. So here's what went down. After Kimmel criticized the MAGA movement, ABC suspended his show. Reports say the decision wasn't just about ratings, it followed threats from FCC officials, including Trump-appointed Chairman Brendan Carr, who warned broadcasters that they could face regulatory action if they didn't rein in commentators. Now that's where things get scary, because it's one thing for a network to make a business decision, but it's something else entirely when government pressure, actual threats from regulators, who soon are used to silence critics, that's crossing into authoritarian territory. Former President Barack Obama jumped into the debate, defending Kimmel and warning that press freedoms in America are under serious threat. He said democracy depends on dissent, on uncomfortable speech and not government coercion. And he called out the hypocrisy. After years of MAGA politicians crying about cancel culture, they're now celebrating it when it silences their opponents. Meanwhile, President Trump responded by mocking Kimmel, calling him untalented with bad ratings and basically cheering for his removal. And that's the contrast. Where Obama sees danger in silencing critics, Trump sees victory in shutting them down. It's a glimpse into two very different visions of free speech. And here's my take. You don't have to like Jimmy Kimmel. You don't have to agree with him. But if comedians, commentators, or journalists can be yanked off air because politicians don't like what they say, that's the end of a free press. That's managed media, and history shows it never ends well. So the issue isn't Jimmy Kimmel. The issue is whether anyone can speak freely without fearing government retaliation, because once you let the government decide who gets to talk, it won't stop with late-night comedy. This is a turning point, an inflection point, as Obama said. Do we stand up for free speech, even when it's uncomfortable, or do we let politicians decide who gets silenced? Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this suspension about ratings, or is it about government censorship? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more breakdowns like this. See you next time.